Hello, my wonderful listeners, and welcome back to the Wishing You Well podcast. I'm Maria Patrick, your health coach, and today we're going to slow things down and bring clarity to a topic that has become, honestly, a little overwhelming. Protein. Everywhere you look, there's a message telling you to eat more of it. High protein snacks, high protein drinks, high protein desserts, even high protein coffee. It's been added to everything. Dunkin' Donuts drinks, Kraft macaroni and cheese, Doritos, pretzels, Pop-Tarts, Lucky Charms, ice cream, and even soda. Is all of that protein necessary? Is having that much protein good for you? It can definitely leave you overwhelmed, perplexed, and asking yourself, am I getting enough? Should I be eating more protein? Or could I actually be eating too much? So today we're going to take a grounded, nourishing approach to this conversation and focus on bringing us to a gentle return to what our body truly needs. So before we even get into the numbers, I want to shift the way we are thinking about protein, because protein is not just a number on a label. It's information for your body. Protein tells your body how to repair itself, rebuild itself, strengthen itself, and stay resilient. Every time you eat protein, you're giving your body the building blocks it needs to maintain itself. And that becomes especially important as we move through our 40s and 50s and beyond, because this is the time when your body starts to change in quieter ways. You may begin to notice that you lose strength more easily, or your metabolism feels slower, or your recovery takes longer, or your skin or your hair feels different. And a lot of that comes back to muscle. And protein plays a key role in muscle maintenance. But again, that doesn't mean that more is always better. It means enough is powerful. So let's talk about what it means to get enough. You may have heard the standard recommendation, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Or you may see it written as this: daily protein needs, broken down like this: women, 70 to 90 grams a day; men, 80 to 110 grams a day; kids age 4 to 8, 19 grams a day; teenagers, age 9 to 13, 34 grams a day. This is what's considered the minimum to prevent deficiency. But here's the important part. The numbers were never meant to represent optimal health. It's more like the numbers are the bare minimum that we need to get by. So for most people who exercise regularly or strength train, or simply you want to age with strength and vitality, a better range is to aim for a little higher amount of grams per body weight. In some cases, if you're actively working on building your muscles, it might go even higher. So let's walk through this in a practical way. If you weigh 140 pounds, your protein goal would be roughly 63 to 75 grams per day. If you weigh 160 pounds, your range would be between 72 and 86 grams per day. Now pause for a moment and think about those numbers. Those numbers are very different from what diet culture is pushing right now. You don't need 150 grams. And you definitely don't need to feel like you're failing if you're not hitting some extreme target when it comes to protein. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not just how much protein you eat, it's how you space it throughout your day. Your body can only effectively use a certain amount at a time when it comes to repairing muscles and having overall synthesis in the body. So for instance, if you eat 10 grams of protein at breakfast and 15 grams at lunch, and then 60 grams at dinner, your body's definitely not going to use that protein as efficiently as it could. A more supportive rhythm would be to have 20 to 30 grams per meal. That is what I recommend to my clients, to balance your protein across breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When you do it that way, it's going to help you stabilize your blood sugar, keep your energy steady, reduce your cravings later in the day, and maintain muscle. The biggest gap I see is the breakfast that we eat. Many people, most people, are starting their day with toast, maybe a little butter or jam, oatmeal, or some other type of carbohydrate with nothing else with it, and a cup of coffee, and very little protein. What happens when you do that? Your blood sugar will spike, and then it crashes. Your cravings are then going to kick in, and then your energy will dip. Even adding just 15 to 25 grams of protein in the morning can completely change your day. Simple way to do this: eat some eggs with greens on the side. Have some Greek yogurt, high in protein, with some berries. Have a smoothie that's got protein in it and some healthy fats. It doesn't have to be complicated. Now let's gently move to the other side of this conversation. Having too much protein, because yes, you can have too much and it's becoming more common, especially because protein's now being added to so many convenience foods that people are regularly eating, like the bars, like the packaged foods, like the cereals and ice creams and drinks and things I mentioned earlier. And that's going to all add up quickly. What happens to your body when it takes in too much protein? Your body is intelligent. It's very wise. It's going to give you signals. The first of which could be digestive discomfort. Too much protein, especially if you don't get enough fiber alongside it, can lead to bloating and constipation and having that overall heavy, sluggish feeling. Another thing that could happen when your protein is too high is that you're going to start crowding out your other nutrients. Something's going to have to give. So if you're really heavily focusing on the protein, you're probably going to be leaving out fiber-rich foods and healthy carbs and colorful vegetables. And you need all of those things for your gut health, for your hormones, and for the detoxification of your body. If you overload on protein, you're putting increased stress on your body. Protein metabolism is much more demanding. It requires more hydration and it requires your kidneys to work harder. For most healthy people, this isn't dangerous, but chronically high protein intake isn't necessary either. When everything becomes about hitting your protein goals, eating food and meals becomes a math equation instead of nourishment. And that creates a real disconnect and perhaps you even losing the joy of eating. So there's another reason why you don't want to overload on protein. Quality also is an important conversation to have here because not all protein is created equal. You'll want to find balance. If you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, you'll want to find a balance between animal versus plant protein. Animal proteins are considered complete proteins. They contain all the essential amino acids and they're more easily absorbed in the body. But plant proteins bring something just as important to the table, and that's where we get our fiber and our antioxidants and our gut support. So instead of choosing one over the other, if you have that option, you're going to want to seek balance. A day in the life of getting enough protein on your plate might include eggs or fish, lentils or chickpeas, nuts and seeds, cottage cheese, and or yogurt. This is going to support not just your muscles, but your entire system. The real magic happens when we combine adequate protein intake. And adequate means not too little and not too much. Combine it with movement. This is what I really want you to take in. Protein alone doesn't build strength in your body. It's protein plus movement, especially resistance training and body weight exercises, and even mindful practices like Qigong. When you move your body, you're signaling your body to do something with the protein that you're giving it. Without that signal, extra protein just doesn't have the same benefit. Because at the end of the day, we want to listen to our bodies. You can follow every guideline perfectly and still feel disconnected from your body. So instead, I want you to take notice of how you feel after your meals. Do you feel satisfied? Is your energy steady or is it crashed? Do you feel strong in your body? Do you feel clear in your mind? Those are your real markers, not just the numbers. Here's a simple, balanced way to approach protein, a gentle daily rhythm, if you will. In the morning, add a source of protein to your breakfast to anchor your day. Midday, build yourself a balanced plate that has protein, fiber, and healthy fats. In the evening, you want to nourish yourself with protein, but you don't want to overload. Throughout the whole day, you want to stay hydrated and focus on eating real, not processed foods. I want to leave you with this. We live in a time where nutrition has become very loud. There's a lot of influencers out there that want you to do it their way. And perhaps they're even selling products that are filled with protein, that they're making promises to you. They offer an approach that can be very extreme. It's very all or nothing. But your body doesn't need extremes. It needs consistency. It needs nourishment. It needs care. Protein is essential. There's no doubt about it. But it's just one piece of a much bigger picture. So instead of chasing more, come back to enough. Getting enough protein to feel strong, enough protein to feel steady, and enough to feel healthy and well. Thank you so much for tuning in today, spending time with me on this very important topic. If this episode brought you some clarity, I hope you'll consider sharing it with someone who might need a softer, more balanced perspective on protein for health. As always, please take care of yourself. Please move your body. Please nourish your life. And please remember that I am wishing you well.